Next on NewsCenter 7, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office has made 2 arrests in connection of a March 15th shooting in Port Charlotte. The details coming up. Also, family and friends are mourning the loss of DeJuan Williams. Next, details surrounding his murder. And details on where the city of Bradenton plans to enforce new red light cameras. News, weather, and more next on Your Good Morning.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Your Good Morning on NewsCenter 7 starts now.
Good morning, I'm Eric Walker. Thank you so much for joining us here on NewsCenter 7. We have all of your top stories here in just a few moments. But first, let's get a look to see how it's shaping up outside. Go ahead and take a live look over Sarasota this morning. Blue skies across the area with temperatures around 69 degrees. Humidity is at 25%, barometer at 29.5 and rising. And we'll have more weather for you in just a few moments. But first, making news this morning, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office Crimes Detectives Unit arrested 2 men in Northport in connection with a March 5th shooting. Charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon were 23-year-old Jethro Chris Sanat and his brother 20-year-old Roland Carly Sandlot, both of 4139 Magenta Avenue. MCU detectives have worked months on this case, and they call the case retaliation, going back to 2007 at the Club Millennium nightclub in Port Charlotte when several people were shot in the parking lot, none fatally though. The ongoing feud resulted in both Sanat and Sandlot being shot outside a Circle K on February 14th in Port Charlotte. The March 5th shooting occurred in front of the home in the 2300 block of Allman Avenue in Port Charlotte. A car pulled up to a parked car in front of the home. 9 bullets hit the car. Any information that you may have is asked by police to be brought forward. You can call Detective Dougherty at 941-405-4644. And family and friends are mourning the loss of DeJuan Williams, who was weeks away from going to college on a track scholarship. Authorities say they've arrested the teenager responsible for the former Bay Shore High School student's death. 17-year-old Mariah Ward says the emotional pain she feels is coming in waves. 18-year-old DeJuan had been her boyfriend for the past 14 months. He was shot and killed Thursday in his own backyard. Ward says they came home to check on DeJuan's 14-year-old sister, who wasn't supposed to have boys in the house. Their parents were at work at the time. If you have any information, you are asked to call the Manatee County Police Department at 1-866-634-TIPS. Memorial service is planned Monday morning at 8:30 at the track at Bay Shore High School for friends and family of DeJuan. The city of Bradenton announced today the activation of red light cameras, the enforcement system at one Bradenton intersection on tomorrow. That's Friday, April the 7th. The city of Bradenton has partnered with ACS Incorporated, a Dallas-based company with a national reputation for red light photo enforcement systems, to manage the red light camera program. Under Florida law, the citations issued through the traffic safety program are civil infractions. No insurance premiums are impacted and no points are added to the violator's license. For the first phase of the traffic safety program, the photo enforcement camera will be activated at the intersection of southbound 301 and Manatee Avenue South. And for the next 3 locations, that is, are located at the intersections of westbound Manatee Avenue East and southbound 301, eastbound 7th Avenue and 9th Street Southeast, eastbound Manatee Avenue West and 15th Street. The city will eventually have a total of 10 monitored intersections. The system will operate as follows. When a vehicle illegally runs a red light, a car passes a laser detection unit, triggering the first photo of the vehicle entering the intersection. The camera is only activated when the light is red. Manatee County Sheriff's Office is searching for clues in the death of a doctor's wife. The woman was found murdered in her home Monday night in Terra Sierra. Authorities are not releasing any details, but are saying it was a violent homicide. Marked vehicles line the street, usually quiet. That's Bayshore Street in the small community of North Palmetto, as crime scene technicians worked inside the house of Dr. James Briles throughout the day Tuesday. Investigators were also searching a wooded area next to the home. Deputies say Dr. Briles came home from work Monday and found his wife, 48-year-old Kathleen Briles, dead in the living room. It's difficult to say who may have caused it, whether it was a random act or if it was somebody who knew the victim, says Sheriff Randy Warren of Manatee County. Well, prosecutors that is, have dropped the domestic violence charges against a tourist whose brother was shot and killed by Miami Beach police in June. The state attorney's office in South Florida dropped charges against 31-year-old Samer Sahada Tuesday. Police had charged Sahada with domestic battery for hitting his girlfriend hours before the fatal shooting. Shahada and his brother, 19-year-old Hussein Shahada, had been visiting Miami Beach from Virginia with their girlfriends. Police responding to the 911 calls about an armed man encountering Hassan Shahada in the early morning hours of June 14th. Police say Hussein failed to respond to officers' commands and was fatally shot. Now your headlines across the state of Florida. Out of Tampa this morning, employees and visitors are allowed back in 2 Tampa courthouse buildings that authorities had cleared earlier and locked down. Courthouse security gave the all clear after officers failed to find a woman who supposedly got through a security checkpoint with a gun in her handbag this morning. Out of Boynton Beach, newlywed has been arrested for allegedly hiring an undercover police officer to kill her husband of 6 months. Police say 26-year-old Dali DiPolito gave an informant $1,200 for a handgun and offered $3,000 for the murder of her husband of 6 months, 38-year-old Michael DiPolito. Out of Tallahassee this morning, baseball spring training is lucrative business in Florida. The 2009 Florida Grapefruit League season boosted the state's economy by an estimated $752 million, the Florida Sports Foundation reported today. Out of Washington, a U.S. senator says the key to finding remains of a pilot missing for nearly 20 years turned out to be an Iraqi nomad who, as a child, witnessed the pilot's desert. And out of Washington this morning, a U.S. senator says the key to finding the remains of a pilot missing for nearly 20 years turned out to be an Iraqi nomad who, as a child, witnessed the pilot's desert burial. Florida Senator Ben Nelson says that Iraqi led U.S. Marine to another nomad who knew the actual burial site of Navy Captain Michael Scott Spletcher. We're back in 60 seconds right after this message. Stay with us.
You're watching NewsCenter 7 with Eric Walker, KNCN. Count on us.